Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast with me and Aaron.
Hello.
No YouTube news today. So, first thing we're going to talk about is life coaches. So, obviously, I'm imagining you all know what life coaches are, but I'll give you all a brief explanation. They're people who try and set people on the right track with various different things. It's usually the most popular ones are like business ones and weight loss ones or muscle gaining ones. Those are the most popular ones. But you can have a life coach in basically anything, pretty much. But we're going to mainly talk about them on the internet. We're not like we will talk a bit about real life ones, but I personally think real life ones are better. But we'll be talking about ones on the internet. So, do you want to say your opinion on life coaches then?
Well, I know obviously before this we were talking about it. I know it was yesterday actually, and we were just saying a lot of the advice that they give is pretty much stuff you should either already know or it's just them reassuring you that what you're doing is correct.
Yeah. They either try and like give really, really relaxing feedback. They're like, yeah, you've got to do this and this, and they just try and reassure you. And as Aaron said, it's stuff that if you're going into this field or if you're trying to do this thing, you should already know, or it's basic advice. Yeah, that you already know. So yeah, let's take like business coaches for example. They might make a video online that says what you have to do is sometimes learn to say no and like that. But what they do, they stretch it out for like 15 minutes and they say, so you're going on the bus today, and then you see an old person walk on, and then they say, can I have your seat, mate? And then you go, no. So, but then
Yeah.
they just stretch it out for like 15 minutes to make it look good. Because let's be honest, they can't really sell a product, I suppose, or they can't sell themselves if they just sit there for 2 seconds and just say no. And then, you know. But at the same time, they should really be giving good advice. And also, you see a lot of these life coaches. What have they actually got to offer? Like, what have they even done? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I was going to say something then, but
pardon?
I was going to say when you look at a lot of them, their lives aren't really the best.
Yeah. Like, now, me and Aaron know this one person who's a life coach for people's businesses. Now, we're not going to mention names, and he definitely won't be watching it. But he's coaching people on business stuff and starting your own business or being a better person and losing weight. And all he's done is be a computer technician. He's never owned a business. He's never done anything like that. I mean, he lost weight, to be fair to him, so fair play to him. And he's a really good bloke. He's a nice bloke. But he hasn't done anything business-wise. I don't think he's qualified to give people business advice. Do you think, Aaron? Because if all you are, I shouldn't have worded him in it, but like, say if you've just I don't know, worked in a warehouse and you've never been promoted, you've never bothered to try and get supervisor or manager or general manager or managing director or owner or whatever of the site, or you've never started your own business. How can you give other people advice if all you've done is a basic job?
That's a bit of a hard one, really, because I was going to bring this point up a bit later, but I was just going to say the advice that they give you, as I said before, it's very, very simple and it's very generic, and most of the time they try and put a price tag on just very generic information.
Yeah. I'll like 50 quid, 100 quid for private classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you the most basic thing in the world.
But yeah, with people who, it's like this person that we know. I don't want to mention him by name, but this person that we know that he has never owned a business. They've never done anything like that. So it is a bit weird, but the customers don't know that, do they? He's putting up this image of I'm this, I'm this, I'm this, whereas the customers obviously don't know anything about him.
Yeah, and also he's in with like a big community of people that give advice. I've watched some of his videos, and there's a massive community of them who just give basic advice. And obviously, if we didn't know him, you know, we wouldn't know that he hasn't had a business. For all we know, he could be the next Jordan. He could have been doing what Jordan Belfort was doing in the 90s. He could be a master salesman who cons people, or he could be a master businessman like Alan Sugar. You just don't know. But because you don't know who they are, they could be anything, and they can sell you this false image.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they just give you really basic, generic information, and it doesn't really help. And the thing is, if you need life coaches for business and all that, are you really doing the right thing? I mean, did Alan Sugar, do you really think if video chats were around, would Alan Sugar or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs or, Jordan Belfort go on video chats and go, oh, how do I do this? How do I do that? How do I do that? Alan Sugar go, you're fired. You're not a real advice person. But the rest of them would just leave, because they've got into a trade and they know what they're doing. They don't need people to state the bloody obvious, do they? They just do their own thing. They're in the trade. They know what they're doing. Success isn't overnight, and success won't be given to you just by someone saying the most generic, basic information. You've got to go and seek that yourself.
I was just thinking about it as well. With a lot of life coaches, what you said about there's like groups of them that get together, it's almost like their business is leeching off of an actual business.
Yeah.
It's because they don't really have. Oh.
I was just going to say if someone like opened up a small shop and they're doing all right, but they're not really that confident and they want to find improvements. Obviously, you should probably get a real life coach. Don't go to some bloody lunatic over the internet who just says, do this, I'll help you. Because they're just selling you a false product, as I say. And as you said, they're leeching off that person's small shop.
I mean, for some people, I think they could be good, because if you genuinely do not know anything about if you don't know anything about it, if you just need like advice because you're starting at square one, I guess they could be a bit helpful. But at the end of the day, you've just got to learn to get that advice yourself, just through like trial and error, I guess.
Yeah. Aaron, I just want to bring up this one point. In school, I did business studies, and did you as well?
No.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you did. You seem like the businessman.
No.
But anyway, so I did business studies, and all three of the teachers, we had loads of different teachers. We had this one geezer who was actually quite good. He became I think he became a deputy head or a head teacher at another school that was more near to his home. And then we had two other people who were literally the most useless. Honestly, they had no idea. Like the bloke, the first geezer, he had somewhat of an idea. But the problem is with things like business studies, I know this is random to go off on, but business, you can get taught it in school, and all they do is tell you, like, this is what bulk buying is, this is what niche means, this is what this word means. They don't actually teach you how to come up with an idea, or like, I mean, they tell you about people's businesses and how other people have come up with ideas, but they don't have any experience in business, is what I mean. None of them did. Maybe at university they do. Actually, talking of that though, a lot of the film teachers I had at college, only one of them had made loads and loads of films and film concerts and done all this different stuff. The rest of them had just been to uni. One of them had been a mad journalist, like not mad as in like crazy, but like mad as in they'd done loads and loads of journalism. So only two of them have actually been in the industries, like journalism or whatever, because journalism was a module. And then all the others had just been like university people who just had a bit of a passion for films, I guess. So I feel like the point is, if you are going to get taught by someone, make sure that they know what they're doing. Look into their backgrounds and make sure that they've actually had experience in this, or make sure what they're telling you is very, very good or has been proven to work. I know it's a bit random to go on. See, I just stretched it out. I stretched something out for like 3 minutes and then just told you, this is what you need to do. But I thought I might as well give an example. So, yeah.
I was just going to say as well, this isn't just life coaches in general, but people who are even experts in stuff, it doesn't guarantee that anything's going to work out. So you just got to learn to do it on your own, I guess.
Very true, very true. I'll just talk about people who try and get you to lose weight, to be honest. There's some people, obviously, who are like insanely built and have worked hard, and they just want to help people. But there's other people, like Aaron, there's this one bodybuilder. Now, the thing is, I don't really, I won't mention names. He's quite a famous YouTuber, but I'm not going to mention names. But he is jacked. He's massive, Aaron. I'll send you a video of him, and everyone's saying like, "Oh, how can I get as big as you? How can I get as big as you?" Blah 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 blah. I mean, he does videos of what him and his gym buddies eat in the morning, and like they eat massive amounts of food and all that. But legit, he's all muscle. He's like, his arms are massive. He's totally ripped. There's no fat on him at all, man. And but the thing is, people ask him. They say, what you call it, how can I get as big as you? How are you so big? Are you on steroids? And he just tries to avoid it all the time. So if someone says, "Are you on roids?" He's like, he just avoids it all the time. He's like, "Well, no, I'm not, but I could be. I've taken a few, He always avoids the answer, and the thing that he wants to put across the allure that he might have done it naturally, but he also might have done it on roids. Because the thing is, if everyone loves to speculate, don't they? If people knew that he was on roids, they'd just be like, "Oh, you're roided, blah 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 blah." But if people knew that he wasn't on roids, or if he said, "No, I'm not on roids," they'd be like, "Oh, you are on roids. You are on roids. What are you talking about? What?" So people put across this allure that they know everything, or that they've done everything right, when they haven't.
Yeah. I don't really know what else to say to that, to be honest.
But yeah, with weight loss, with any coach in general, a good one just gives you the guidelines. I mean, when I've done Thai boxing in the past, there's been some people who just don't listen, can't be asked, don't do anything, and that it's an amazing trainer, but they just can't be asked. And no matter how good that trainer is, if that person doesn't push themselves, then they're crap. But I've also had like trainers who are just half decent and nothing really great. But there's been loads of people who push themselves. So you think, bloody hell, that trainer's good, but it's like, no, these people have just pushed themselves and they've been given some somewhat decent advice, And yeah, it is really down to how much you want it, No one else can give something to you. You have to go out there and take it. As I say, with weight loss, with fitness, with learning to be good at something, you just have to graft and graft and graft and graft and graft like mad. Obviously, I'd say you do have with certain things, you do have to put loads of effort in, but you also have to, like it is. Say if you want to become a runner, if you've got a really bad foot or whatever, you probably won't be able to do it. Like it is, it's probably 50% physical and 50% mental, Or if you just, like, to be honest, I don't mean to, go on about myself about this, but like, no matter how much I want it, no matter how hard I try, I could never get a PhD in physics. I could probably really graft. I could probably maybe get a degree in it if I just go mental and just graft and graft and graft. But I could never get to the highest level. I'm just not good enough. I just haven't been blessed with that, high intelligence, man. I just haven't been blessed with it, But I've been blessed with decent height. I could be a runner if I wanted to, I've got long arms, So you just have to. I feel like you can push yourself so much mentally, but depending on how intelligent you are going to hit barriers at some point, But at the same time, you do have to push. You do have to want things yourself. So, yeah, that's just my opinion on life coaches. They're all right, but you should know mostly what you do, and they should just be giving you guidelines, and then you find the way yourself to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few. I don't watch. I watch their videos, but I watch them through like someone else reacting to them, if that makes any sense. But there's these certain YouTubers who they are like morbidly obese, like I'm talking like 600 plus pounds. And,
Good.
And they basically buy all these diet boxes and all these like healthy food and stuff. And I think they were somewhere out they spend like $1,000 a month on all these diet stuff.
Jeez.
But their weight just goes up because they think, oh, if I eat a cucumber today, I can go and get like 50 Big Macs or something. Something really stupid.
That is mad.
It's just basically saying that it doesn't matter. Like if you have all the money in the world, you could buy every single life coach subscription that you ever wanted. But it just still relies on you. You've got to take whatever advice you think is good and run with it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, one thing with weight loss, I just want to say quickly, a lot of people just make excuses. Literally, there's so many people who are like insanely intelligent, but they're just fat and they just cannot be asked to lose the weight. Or stay in shape or exercise. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have the time, I'm too stressed. Make the time, man. Honestly, because this one dude who has an insanely hard job, who one of my mates' dads from college, he's this financial director. It's insanely hard. He works his arse off. He's out the house from like 7 in the morning till like 7 at night. Insanely mad shifts, insane stress, loads of maths. When he gets home, he goes on a run. Sometimes really early in the morning, he'll go swimming. And maybe do a few things at the little home gym he's got. And then he spends time with his family after he's done all these things. So I'm sorry if a dude who's working his arse off, having insane stress, can do it, then so can you. As long as your job isn't insanely physically hard. But if you do have an insanely physically hard job, just try and do light exercises. And to be honest, if you have a really physically hard job, it's probably just your diet. It is 80% what you eat and 20% like what you do. So you can be working insanely hard, but if you're not eating the right stuff, or if you're eating too much and you can't burn it off, then of course you're still going to be a fat bastard. But obviously, if you're putting the effort in, if you're making the right precautions and eating the right things, then yeah, you might be all right. But the thing is, obviously, some people, you might have a high metabolism, so even if you eat crap, you can be scrawny for ages, or you might have a low metabolism, so you might still carry a bit of weight even if you work insanely hard. So there is circumstances in people's physical health, but if you're a regular person, you've got a regular metabolism, or if it's slightly higher or slightly lower, just push, man. Just push yourself, seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to? Have you got anything else you want to add about life coaches and weight loss and businesses and physical health? Or
all I'm probably gonna say is, at the end of the day, it's your money. Spend it how you want. Just make sure you know what you're in for. Pretty much.
that is true. Yeah, I mean, if you want some person telling you, "Oh yes, say no, say yes, yippee," and if that's what makes you enjoy things, then. Because some people just love feeling a part of things, don't they? So I suppose if you love being a part of some weird thing, well, it might. You know what? If you enjoy it, it's not weird to you, is it? But if you enjoy people stating the obvious to you and it de-stresses you a bit, then go right ahead. But as Aaron says, know what you're in for.
Yeah.
So I think we can move on to our next topic then. Group channels. So. Yeah, group channels, obviously, that's when, people get together. In a perfect world, these things are, like, amazing. Because imagine 7 people get together. One of them, you all are just grafting at videos. Like, I don't know, one of them does a podcast, or one or two of them does a podcast and gets some people on to talk about whatever. The other one makes videos about sports that they enjoy. The other one does gaming videos. The other one does vlogs. The other one does a skit once in a while. The other one does animations. The other one does streams. Like, a good team. Like, imagine just video pumping out every day. The more videos you do, the more different types of videos, the more different topics, there's more chance that your stuff will get well known and that you'll be in the know. But there's a lot of big disadvantages with it, obviously. Do you want to say something good about it, Aaron? Community channels or group channels or team channels?
Yeah, I mean... Right, I'll just use like ARP for example, because there's 2 of us. Obviously, like the workload can, well, not workload, just videos can be split. So like, oh, James does this, I do this, But if you have, say, like James said, 7 people, that means that you can literally get a video every day of the week, and it's just one person working on a video. And at the end of the day, it benefits everyone because the views will go up to the roof. And then you can, share out. I mean, it's not just money at the end of the day. It's obviously like, people come in to your channel, and yeah, I guess just overall, it's just a good laugh with your mates, because obviously they're going to be your mates, aren't they? Unless you're in some weird business deal with someone.
Very true, yeah. I mean, if you're treating it like some weird business deal and saying, this will go through the roof, the profits will go through the roof, and just act like a bloody lunatic, then people aren't going to be interested. But if your approach is quite chilled out to getting people to come on, and you're like, yeah, we can do this, 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 and this. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. If you want to do it, great. You can do this. You can just upload whatever you want, as long as you're not showing your arse on camera or bloody saying horrific slurs. Then I suppose you can upload it, can't you? Brilliant.
Yeah, and also you can spread it out, across not only YouTube, but obviously like Twitch and other places and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I know there's that saying: is it too many cooks spoil the broth? Yeah, that's it. I forgot it halfway through. But with videos at the start of a YouTube channel, I'm not gonna lie, it's probably best to get as many. It's like I said to you, James. I'd rather try something once on like a video wise, try something once and absolutely fail than just do nothing forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just something good as well. Well, that's what I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, with you saying too many cooks spoil the broth, I suppose, say if someone does say if you have someone who does insanely good reviews, but then the next day you have someone who uploads an absolute bag of arse, I suppose people aren't going to want to subscribe, are they? But at the same time, all that really matters is views. I mean, you can have I know this is a weird example, but Sky does Minecraft and Captain Sparkles, they have 11 or 10 million subs, and they only get 100k views a video, just because they have all those subs, they're not getting the views, the money's not coming in. I know it's not all about money, but views, okay, obviously don't clickbait, but if you get loads of views and loads of likes and you're getting positive feedback, it means you're probably doing something right. If you have 10k subs and you're only getting 2 views, then you probably need to work on something. So obviously, yeah, too many cooks can spoil the broth, but with more stuff being pumped out, I suppose, there's more chance of being successful. And with different types of content, loads of different people might tune into loads of different things, but also loads of people might be turned off by things because remember when we did those I did one YTP, you did 4 YTPs. One of my mates was like, oh, why bother doing this? Your MMA videos get the views, blah 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 blah. Most channels just only do 1 or 2 things and it gets a big audience in. But I'm thinking, yeah, but you're sort of limiting your creativity here. If I just spam loads of MMA news videos, which it takes a lot of effort and I can't be asked, but if I did and we got loads of subs, I mean, it'd be all right, but they'd only be bothered about one thing. And you do need people who only care about one thing, like the DSP people. But, the MMA is a sport, but DSP people, if you're bothered about a YouTuber, you're most likely to have multiple interests. So you might see, oh, podcast, that's cool, let's click on this. Well, hey,
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say. Alright.
But yeah, while you're thinking, I'll just say something bad quickly about channels. You might get someone who's a bit of a dictator, who's I want it this way. I'm a bit of a control freak. I want everything my way now. And that can lead to a crap ton of falling out, That can lead to people just doing one and leaving, to be honest, because and also it's a bit difficult because say if one person has control of the main account that the videos get uploaded to, I suppose you could think to yourself, that's good, but in another way, you feel like, oh, I'm just giving my videos to this person. They've got all the control, they've got the clout and fame, they can release whatever videos they want. But at the same time, if everyone has access to the accounts, the more people that get involved, the more chance something bad happens. So maybe someone gets really annoyed or gets taken the mick out of in a video as a joke and then just deletes the whole channel, So it's I feel like the less people, the better. If you've got a big channel and people are just oh, I want to upload to your channel or whatever, then that's fine. But if you're a proper group, I suppose you just need someone with a real level head who wouldn't let the power go to their head, who's just I'll have the main account and upload the videos and I'm impartial, so if someone falls out, then that's that. You just need someone with a real level head, and who definitely distribute the money evenly rather than screw people over and mess everything up.
I mean, yeah, that's what I was going to say actually before. Was that with a channel of say 7 people, the likelihood of someone having that power go to the head is pretty high. There's quite a few people. I don't want to mention any channel names because I don't really want to bring anyone into it. But there's some people that I sort of used to watch back in the day, and they had maybe like 10 members, and at the end it just imploded because there's that much of a power struggle, and certain members thought, oh, I want to be top, and and it just basically killed the channel. But something else I just thought about as well is when you first start a community channel, group channel, is at the start you can see very quickly who is going to be cut out for it, I guess. That sounds pretty harsh, but don't be afraid to say to someone, listen, this isn't really that good. You need to change up a bit.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to think, because those videos that I was going to make at the start, it's like the random ramblings ones. I don't really think that they're very good anymore. I mean, I like the idea of them. It's just I can get it done in a different style of video, and I can do it like with other people and stuff and get it done a lot faster. So I don't want to just be putting out that sort of level of content. And also, this has just been my end of my little ramble here, but don't be afraid to change stuff up, because at the start of a YouTube channel, who really cares? You've probably got like 5 subs or something, and even if you do have like 100 subs, you've only got 100 subs. Like, it's not like you 1 million people watching you, is it?
Yeah. I mean, if you have a group channel and people don't upload or they can't be asked, then you might be, I don't know, maybe they just don't enjoy doing it, maybe they've lost their passion, or maybe you're just not treating them like with much respect, I don't know. Again, people who just become really like controlling. I'm going to use the sidemen for example. Like, I feel like a lot of the sidemen, they actually make some good videos, because they used to do loads of gaming, but now they do loads of challenges and all that stuff. Like, they try and remake The Chase, or remake, I don't know if they've done this, but Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and they have all sorts of people on, and all of their careers were made by KSI. So you can sort of understand that KSI is the leader, because like probably, I don't know, 14 million subs by the time they started the Sidemen. So you can sort of understand them, like, looking up to him. But if it's just some random person, or if it's someone who's not getting that many views, or if it's just like someone who, if it's a bit of a scam, if something doesn't seem right, then probably best not to do it, really. But if you want to give it a go and see how it goes, then obviously go for it.
Yeah, that was it. I was gonna sort of say this as well. But even if you are part of a community or something, don't be afraid to do something on your own. Like, always make sure you have, I mean, I'm not saying everyone should have 2 channels, but upload whatever videos you want to a community channel, and then do stuff on your own, because it's always good to diversify yourself up a bit.
100%, man.
Because I know I've got my channel, I've taken all the videos off it because they're just that random, and like the old ones. But maybe one day I'll do some on there. Who knows?
I mean, you did have quite a few weird videos, didn't you? I know you uploaded the in-between. Actually, you uploaded a full. Should I say it or not? Actually, I won't say it. But you uploaded a very long video that was copyrighted, and you had some weird clickbait ones as well. Like,
that was like 15-year-old me. But
true.
Basically what happened was, I uploaded this video. It was basically a movie, and I was archiving it for myself, but I left it public, and I left the channel, came back, and I had like 600 subs. I was like,
yeah, I mean, as you say, it was 15-year-old you. We all make daft, weird videos once in a while. We all want that cheeky high of getting like 100k views. Like, to be honest, if I had 100k views, even if it was on a mad clickbait video where it says something totally misleading, then it's just someone in the camera going, bleh! You know, I'd sort of feel good about myself. At that age, obviously I wouldn't feel good now, but like at that age I would have been like, 100k, yes! You know, so I would have been quite happy with that. But yeah, another example There's the E-Boys, which is basically Memulus, Will and E, James Marriott, and I'm Alex, and that's all. That's all right stuff. At least there's only four of them. At least they've all got their own channels and they're already established. It's just all four of them commentating on stuff, really. So they're all collaborating more instead of just doing things on their own or only collaborating once in a while. So I suppose that's cool. I guess it just sort of it's all right. I suppose yeah, it's decent.
Yeah.
There's obviously Rooster Teeth as well. They're really mainstream now, but back in the day, I'm assuming it was just a few friends trying to make Red versus Blue or other videos, but eventually it turned into a massive company, and they've got obviously the Let's Play people in there as well, and obviously Achievement Hunter, so they've done quite well for themselves. That's a group channel, but a lot of the time, the top people, the problem is when it's a big group of people, because there might be like 10 of you. Say if you get like 200k and you're getting mad views, like 200k subs and you're getting mad views, or even a million subs, you might make like 100k a year. You've got to split that between 10 people. So like 10, all of you are only making 10k a year, even though you're on like a million subs. Like that's a bit crap, isn't it? So it doesn't surprise me when big companies like buy out group channels, and then sometimes they become better because they got a budget behind them, but sometimes they become worse because the creativity gets sapped a bit and the company's like, oh, I want to do this. So, in my personal opinion, though, I think group channels should be kept at like 3 or 4, and maybe let other people upload as well if you want that sort of thing. But yeah, 3 or 4 main people, and if other people want to upload, let them. I feel like having like 10 people is just too mad.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 people, right? Say if there's 3 people who are always there, and then you get a guest, that's fine because then it sounds a bit harsh, but one of the people is probably going to be a bit quiet throughout the thing.
Yeah.
So in reality, it's only like 3 people talking, or 3.5, or something a bit weird. But yeah, if you have, say, like 5 people on all the time, you're just going to keep interrupting each other. And yeah, I mean, I know me and James do that, but there is always a little bit of lag, which is a bit annoying. And also, but like, we just try and get through it, And there's only 2 of us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it also depends on the topic, and it depends on the other person's awareness. If you're like I think me and you, if we had 2 other people on right now, we'd be out, or one other person. I say something, they say something, then you say something, then I say something. Or if no one's saying anything, then someone just speak up, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah.
But like people who aren't aware, they probably just keep interrupting and go, So they keep interrupting.
I thought you were going to do something else then, but yeah. That's very true.
I didn't catch that, it lagged a bit.
Oh, I thought you were going to start doing something else. I know no one's going to know what we're on about, but yeah.
Yeah, if you like start doing something else, yeah. But yeah. So what else about group channels then? I suppose that as I say, it should. When I said about like, oh, if there's a million of you and you make not a million, sorry. Say if you're making like 100k, and there's 10 of you and you only end up on 10k, it should be for fun in reality. But you can also make your own singular channels, and also you got to think, if it wasn't for the 10 of you making all these videos, would have you got anywhere with it? Maybe not. Who knows? But it's very unlikely that you would have got where you were if it wasn't for all those people making all those videos. I just want to say quickly about ALP though. This is what I recommend personally. Now, I've done loads of channels on my own before. Aaron's done loads of channels on his own before. But the thing is, with just 2 people, I'm not trying to, suck up to myself or whatever, but I'm quite level-headed. I know Aaron quite well. He's quite level-headed. We wouldn't do anything crazy, So I feel like you have to know the person you're getting into things with, you have to know the person who you're doing the videos with. It's not best, if you have doubts about them, it's probably not best to do it with them. And also, if you have a lot of doubts, I mean, obviously everyone's got doubts about a few doubts about everyone, but like if you've got loads and loads of doubts about that person, it's probably best not to do it with them because they might, try and screw you over. Fame corrupts a lot of people, but I couldn't imagine getting corrupted by fame myself. You just have to keep. Well, I suppose everyone talks cheap, and actions speak louder than words. But I'd like to think actually that I wouldn't get corrupted by fame. That's the best way to put it. We probably won't get anywhere. We probably won't get famous. It's just for a bit of a laugh. But these videos will be something cool to look back on. Some good laughs, And obviously, George is sort of like the third wheel. He's sort of part of the channel as well. He's helped loads, but he doesn't make videos, and obviously he's got his own channel, and we wouldn't expect him to make videos because he already helped loads already, so that's good of him.
Yeah, I mean, my sort of final thing, I guess, is to say if you are a member of a group channel or you're starting one or whatever, you don't always have to be like number one. Like, you don't have to always be the one who speaks the most. You don't have to be the one who, he's like the standout star. Because on ALP, I know I don't talk that much because I just sort of let James go off on a bit of a ramble. Sometimes it's pretty hard to stop James. No offense to you, James. But it's like when you talk about UFC, if I was going to say something, I don't know what to say. So it's best to let the other person like sort of carry you in a way to a point where you can talk. And then obviously in other issues, so with YouTube news stuff, I'm not saying I carry you, James, but I explain stuff.
Yeah, you're more in the know about everything YouTube related.
So all I'm just trying to say is you don't have to be like you don't have to be number one. You don't have to be like the top guy. You don't even have to be like the person who speaks the most. As long as you get a good point across, as long as people can understand you, and at the end of the day, it's just you talking with your mates. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah, I feel it's also good to have like, not like people taking you for a ride, but like it's good to carry you away. Like, even though I might talk more, you're really good at designing stuff and making backgrounds and making thumbnails and all that sort of stuff. As you said, like you said on the 100 sub video, like the media side of it, and or was it might have been the how to record the podcast. I can't remember, or the year anniversary. But you said like you're the media side of it, and I'm more like, you still talk quite a lot, but I talk a lot more, and I obviously have got like, a lot of different people on talking about a lot of different things. Only like one sort of famous person, like Funky Dinosaur. Like he's somewhat big, I guess. Not like massive, but big in our sort of league of YouTube. But I've got loads of different people on talking about loads of different things, but I couldn't make any of the thumbnails that you do. I'm no good at that sort of thing. I can make an okay thumbnail, but nothing special. So I suppose it's good to sort of like pull your way in some sort of aspect. You don't have to like pull your way madly if you're not, if you don't know what you're good at, or if you're not that good at stuff, I guess. But try to help out and put your input in there.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, if not everyone's gonna like your stuff, some people are gonna just completely hate you for no reason, and just don't listen to it. I mean, listen to constructive criticism on stuff, but yeah, if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. And what they're going to do, leave a dislike. That boosts your channel at the end of the day. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I guess we can move on to podcasts now then. So what makes a podcast good or bad then? So in my opinion, something that makes a podcast good is variety. Like, you don't want to be doing a podcast talking about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Like, even on the Michael Bisping podcast, I know you don't know who he is, but he's this MMA bloke. He has a load of banter at the start about random stuff, which is great. I love it. And then he talks about MMA as well. So even if you're not an MMA fan, you can enjoy all the banter at the start, and then obviously you can click off 10 or 20 minutes into it when they start talking about MMA. So I feel like it's definitely good to be versatile and have variety and have all sorts of different things on there. Obviously, when you're starting a podcast, though, it's very hard to get famous people on. I don't mean like getting a variety of people on. I just mean talking about a variety of things,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, right at the start of whatever you're doing, like a podcast over, what I'd recommend is doing something that both you, and if you're doing it with someone else, or if you're just doing it on your own, just make sure that you're interested in the topic. Because I can't remember what the first video we did. I don't know what that was on, but I know me and you both.
It was like about YouTube news, I think, and we talked about films a little bit. I don't know.
All right, but yeah, because obviously me and James know, not like I don't know a massive amount about films, but I'm very interested in them and stuff, and I like the back end side of it, I guess, like, you know, how they're made and stuff. Whereas James obviously did media, and he's pretty good at media and stuff. So that was a good starting point for us.
Yeah. I feel like, though, you shouldn't start a podcast if you're like people being uninterested, like guest wise. You shouldn't really have a guest who's just going to say, yep, no, yep. You shouldn't have people who are like half-arsing it or who are doing something totally different. Because if they're like, I don't know, on their computer, looking at porn, or I don't know,
that's what I'm doing right
playing
now.
with their
I'm
bloody.
joking.
I don't know why I'm coming up with these weird analogies, but yeah, say if they're doing something totally different, if they're exercising instead of, you know, paying attention to what you're saying and they're just trying to follow along and they're not fully into it, then you probably shouldn't really have them on because they probably won't give good answers or they might make themselves look daft.
I was thinking as well, there's something else you've got to be wary about, and this can be for any size of podcast or whatever, but watch out for people who are just on to either promote themselves or, if you are quite a big podcast, who are just on for like clout chasing.
Yeah. Like, to be honest, you've obviously asked some people to come on the podcast. I've asked a few people as well. But it's been people that we can actually talk with and say stuff to. You know, who we'd actually have ideas for topics with. Like, for example, if PewDiePie wanted to, I know it's mental, but if PewDiePie wanted to come on the podcast and he wanted to talk about memes and games, like, in mad detail, if I'd say, at first I'd probably say, is it alright if we talk about something else, you know, because I don't really know much about it, or if you did want to come on and do this, I'd probably not be able to say much. Are you sure you don't want to talk about anything else? And if he was like, no, you need to talk as well, loads, you need to know everything about memes. Actually, in reality, I'd probably research it if he was coming on because he's got 100 million subs. But if he just wanted to talk about something that I had no idea about, I wouldn't just have him on for the sake of it. If it was something like, if he wanted to talk about philosophers or something I found insanely boring, and I had to read like thousands of pages worth of books, I'll probably just say, listen, I respect you, bro. If you want to talk about something else, that'd be great. But honestly, I don't know anything about this. I don't want you on for the sake of it, just for a shout out. I do want to talk about stuff. So yeah, just don't have people on for the sake of it, just because of their fame. Have people on that you can actually talk to.
Yeah, because the way that I mean, I don't know how James thinks, but this is the way I think. I always think that when you ask someone if they want to come on your podcast, they're going to look at your most recent videos, and if they see, oh, there's quite a variety here, oh yeah, I can fit in, that's good. Whereas if you just if someone asks you and they clearly have no interest in anything you've done at all, and for example, if they just want to sell something and they're just trying to promote it, you know, I wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you're a small channel, the likelihood of that happening is obviously extremely small.
Yeah. I mean, I'll use this as an example. When I got Funky Dinosaur on, I did want to talk to him about stuff. I wanted to see, you know, why he enjoyed making these YTPs and what inspired him, etc., etc. Because a lot of YTPers are really like not open about themselves at all. Like, he actually does videos where he shows his face once in a while and has a laugh. But most YTPers don't even talk. They wouldn't even share their voice in the videos. They just upload loads of YTPs, get a bit of clout and fame and attention. It's weird that I feel like YTPers aren't bothered about fame. They're mostly just bothered about taking the mick out of something. Like, not in an offensive way, but like making YTPs of things. You know, like making characters say stupid words and making the screen massive or doing whatever, you know. That's what they're mostly bothered about, just making things absolutely mental and crazy rather than like promoting themselves, which is good in a way. Because that's what the YTP audience are bothered about. They're just bothered about crazy, silly YTPs. They're not bothered about it's not like vloggers where their people are so interested in like their lives for some reason when their vloggers are just like everyone else, really. But yeah, you know. Another thing with podcasts though, I'll use a few examples. Like Joe Rogan, he has a famous person on every single podcast pretty much. like someone who's got a Wikipedia page 9 times out of 10. And the thing is, the good thing about Rogan's podcast is that he can always hold his own in a conversation, which with pretty much anyone. He knows so much about loads and loads of different things. It's insane, really. And even stuff he doesn't know about, he still gives it a good shot to try and hold his own, which is really good. And he has so many different people on. He has MMA fighters, political commentators, philosophers, scientists. I'm just having a brain fart. Comedians.
I know he had a lawyer on, didn't he, as well?
I do.
He had a high-ranking lawyer or something.
That's really cool.
I think he did. If I'm making that up, just don't listen to that part. But I'm fairly sure he did because I saw the thing on Apple Podcast.
Yeah, I mean he has business people on. He has business people on as well. He just has all sorts. It's such a insanely diverse podcast, As I say, I'm just going to look at his most popular ones quickly.
All right.
Yeah. Just all sorts of different people, really. Political, leaders and some political leaders and football, sport, athletes, just all sorts of different people. A quick weakness with Joe Rogan. I don't want to bring it up in too many podcasts, use too many examples, but he seems to suck up to the guests a little bit too much sometimes, and he's not really real with them. It's just sort of like he's trying so hard to be nice to them. So, for example, in the Robert Downey Jr. podcast, I know this is a really little thing, but he's like, I love that you're doing stuff like Dr. Dolittle, man. I love that you're doing that. But, that film was a bag of crap. That film was rubbish. I know it was before it came out. Come on, that was destined to fail. Any film with John Cena in sucks. Are you having a laugh, bro? Come on. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Another bit of an issue that I have with it, if someone says something absolutely mad, he sort of is like, yeah, you're right in one way, but actually... So he does tell them sort of straight, but if they say outlandish stuff, he sort of accepts it. Now, even if they're famous, if a famous person said outlandish stuff to me, I'd say, with all due respect, mate, I think you're totally wrong there because of this, and this. I don't know if all of you know this, but I'm a massive Logan Paul fan now. I love his podcast.
He's a Logan member.
I don't really care for Jack that much. He's all right, really. But yeah, I think Logan Paul's great, mainly because of his Ryan Garcia podcast. That's what won me over when he had Ryan Garcia on, one of my favourite boxers. So, the thing is with a Paul podcast, though, is that most of the time he's real with them. He doesn't suck up to them. He actually disagrees with people sometimes, and his crew disagree with people. He's not just sucking up to them all the time. And it feels like, it's sort of like mates having a mad laugh, really. Even though sometimes it's over the top and silly, they're always having a laugh. But, and another good thing about it is that they do podcasts and they don't have to have famous people on all the time. They can just have people in the Paul house doing them on and they're still quite good. Like Rogan couldn't just do one, him sitting there, him and Jamie going, oh, so how are you today, Jamie? If people get to this point in the podcast, they're going to instantly dislike it, but I could care less, to be honest. But yeah, Rogan has disagreed with people a few times. He went mental at Crowder. I think Rogan had a few drinks and he wasn't too happy about Crowder saying stuff about weed or whatever. I can't remember it that well. It was just a really weird rage, to be honest. But then other people have said really outlandish things, and Rogan's just sat there and said nothing and been like, oh, okay, brilliant. So, again, I shouldn't really be going after people, but it's genuine nitpicking criticism. I mean, Joe Rogan's podcast is absolutely amazing, but it's just nitpicking silliness, I suppose. Even though Rogan does agree with people too much and suck up to them a bit, he does carry the conversation well. It feels like a proper conversation. So, fair dues, I guess. I want to use another podcast, for example, the True Geordie podcast now. When True Geordie's doing it with his mates, that's an amazing podcast. But when he's got famous people on, sometimes he does well, But other times it's so much like an interview, man. He just like they talk a bit, he asks them a question, they have a laugh, and then he looks down and then asks them another question. And it's like you can tell this. It just feels like such an interview, bro. And sometimes he doesn't ask the right questions. Like on the Ricky Gervais one, he didn't ask anything about Carl Pilkington, but he just asked loads of stuff that we already knew, which was okay, I guess. It was all right, but yeah.
I was just gonna say as well. I know this is completely off topic, but if you are making a podcast, just remember people aren't gonna like everything you say. But whatever you do, don't bring politics into it. Just don't bring politics into it. That's the one thing me and James have agreed on 100%.
Yeah.
No political views, nothing to do with like religion, stuff like that. Because it's such a minefield.
Yeah. People get really annoyed, and you can get banned off YouTube potentially. So, and it's just not worth it really. In politics, people take it so seriously. Like it's like a football. It's like they support football clubs, man, and they take that too seriously. It's similar to that, except I don't know. The football clubs are a lot smaller, so you can take the mick out of football clubs more, I guess. But yeah, I just want to talk about H3H3 quickly. He does the exact same thing. He says, "I'm not going to get involved in politics, man," but then he has loads of political people on, and it's like, bro, you literally said you're not getting involved with this stuff. Why are you preaching your views?
Yeah, there's something else actually. Alright, I know that there's some people who are it's like a boogie. He's like on my podcast on Twitch. I'm the real boogie, but bit more edgy. But on Twitter, I'm a sad boogie. Don't be like that. I mean, obviously you can be a bit more edgy on Twitter, I guess, but don't say on your podcast, "Oh yeah, we're not going to talk about political stuff," and then talk about everything political somewhere else.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's so daft.
It's just because the same people are watching both. Like people who religiously watch your podcast are going to follow you on Twitter, and they're going to see, oh, but he mentions all political stuff, yet says he's not talking about political stuff.
Yeah, daft in it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, if we was ever going to have a political person on, I'd want to talk about their favourite sportsman. I'd want to talk about their, what they have, what their favourite fast food is. I'd want to talk about what they did, what their pastimes are, what their hobbies are, how they escape from politics, man. Because we already know what all these. If you've done enough research about this political person, you already know all their views, don't you? So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like what you said about True Geordie, because I forgot what thing I watched some of his podcasts and stuff, and with his mates he's like a laugh, but as you said, when he interviews someone who's like quite famous or whatever, or he just does a podcast with them, it's like you already know that stuff. You want to see like the person who you don't get to see. It's like a celebrity just in real life, just a normal person talking about, I don't know, where they go shop. I mean, that's a bit creepy actually. It's like what their hobbies, where do they see themselves, and any plans for doing anything else on YouTube, stuff like that. Like you don't want to hear, so how much money did you make, or how good was this film that you starred in? It's just like,
yeah, 100%, bro, absolutely spot on. I mean, first thing I just want to say quickly, I don't mind people if they want to go on about politics or whatever, but I personally just wouldn't recommend it, mainly because it divides the audience. I talked to a fan about this who's in our Discord, the only quote unquote fan. I'm not going to name names. Like, he's the only fan who's joined who stayed in the Discord. And I said to him, I don't bother with politics, I'm not bothered. And I said, I don't want to divide the audience. And he said, legit though, well, he didn't say the legit bit, but he said, everything that you say is going to divide the audience, so why not talk about it? And I said, yeah, but people take this stuff really, really personal, and I don't want to use this as a platform to preach my political views. I just want to use this as a platform to have a laugh and talk about basically everything else, really. Politics is something people take so personal, and people just get so annoyed, at anyone's opinion, no matter what your opinion is. There is no right opinion. You can tell people what the facts are or what you think, and there's just no right opinion,
Yeah, because on here we could say, the best colour in the world is the colour blue. and it's like, well, it's not, and it's just like they're not even offended really. It's just like, oh, that's not very right. But then if you say, I don't want to mention anything political, but if I just say this political ideology is the best because of this and nothing else, people will take that to the extreme. Like politics, it's politics and religion. People take to the extreme.
Yeah, they get very annoyed.
So yeah, that's probably why we're never going to talk about politics / religion, because at the end of the day, what would we really say?
Yeah, we say that people haven't spammed 1,000 times before.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I just don't like it when YouTubers get involved with politics, though, man. Like, no matter what your beliefs are, what are you doing about it? Like, you're using your platform to complain, but what are you actually doing? All you're doing is owning. Well done. Well, you're great, aren't you? Honestly,
the weirdest was like a case.
Doesn't really bother me what anyone's views are, but like, if your channel's based around something else, and then you're moaning for like half an hour, and you're like, I want this, like, do something about it. Then you're famous. You've got the power. Do something, bro. Because there's loads of people who haven't got the power to change anything, who have got no fame, but you have to do something. Honestly, ridiculous.
I was going to say, that Casey Neistat video where it's like, I'm voting for Hillary Clinton. It's just like, okay, good for you.
Who said that?
Casey Neistat. I don't know if you know, because you don't follow that, or I don't follow him that much. I just sort of heard about him back in the day a lot.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird, really. I'm voting for this person. I'm voting for this person. Oh, I'm voting for this person. Who cares? Bloody hell. Well done. You went. X marks the spot. Well done. Honestly. Daft. Absolute daftness. But yeah, to be honest, with podcasts, I just want to say quickly about the True Geordie and H3H3 quickly. With True Geordie, sometimes he'll be asked a question, then he'll just go on about himself. But he doesn't do it too bad, and he doesn't make it too annoying. With him, it's sort of like instinctive, but at least he gives people the time of day and takes interest in what people have to say and actually listens to what they're saying. But sometimes he'll, like Logan Paul said, stroke my ego a bit. Do you think I'm the most versatile person on YouTube? And he said, well, you are versatile, but I'm also versatile too. And then they all started laughing and saying, you're throwing yourself into this? Lawrence said. So it's like, oh, you know. I don't mind him going on about himself a bit, as long as he's not doesn't go on and on and on, and he actually lets the guest talk, which he always lets the guest talk, to be fair to him, even though he goes on about himself quite a bit. But I just want to say quickly, though, the person who, because to be honest, I know this is like mad what I'm about to say, but I think I go on about myself quite a bit. Aaron does a bit, you know, but as long as you give other people the time of day and you take interest in what other people have to say, then I think it's okay.
Yeah, because oh, sorry, again, lag.
I was just quickly going to say that when H3H3 does it, though, he asks them a question, they give him an answer, and he keeps cutting in and interrupting them, and he's like, yeah, I do this, it's all about me, and like the stuff he's saying is sort of irrelevant half the time. Like I watched the one with Boogie on, and he was asking him about something, and then Boogie was like, yeah, I do this, and then H3H3, I know Boogie is literally, he goes on about himself 24/7, you know, that's nothing new, but like, it's a podcast with Boogie on, he should be going on about himself, but then H3H3 is like, oh yeah, my therapy sessions are going bad as well, oh, you know, and it's like, bro, come on, stop going on about yourself, this is Boogie's time to shine here, he's your guest, like, I know they're actually mates and they talk quite a bit, but let him talk, man, come on.
Yeah, I mean, that was it. Basically, just saying, if you get a guest on, just treat them like a guest. Like, they're only going to be there once, so you need to get the most out of them, I guess. Whereas you're always going to be there if you're the leader, or not leader, the podcast person.
Yeah, exactly. You should think, okay, I can sit back now. I don't need to go on about myself this time. This is the guest time to shine. This is probably the only time I'll ever have him on. And to be honest, I just want to put this out there right now. It is so difficult to get a guest on a podcast because, first off, people live in different time zones. So, like, example, Aaron, you tried to get DSP people on, but you'd have to be up at like 8 o'clock at night and get everything ready. And then it would be midday for them. And then they're like, all right, how's it going? Blah, blah. And then you might potentially be on for like it could take a bit of time for them to get ready, and then you record for an hour and a bit, or an hour, or nearly an hour, or whatever, and then it's just really late and it's not suitable for you. But I suppose to get a guest on, it's all right. But like they might not be free at 12 in the afternoon, so on a weekend, on a Saturday.
Yeah, and I mean, just the end sort of point. Well, for me, I don't know if James wants to say anything else. Is you just gotta. I'm not saying learn to compromise. I'm just saying remember that there's always something else going on. So if a guest can't make it, it could be something personal going on. Don't hold it against them. But obviously, if someone like repeatedly lets you down, then that's a different story. But at the end of the day, it's a podcast. It's a bit of a laugh. Just treat it like a bit of a laugh. Me and James do it. We don't expect any money from this at all.
Very true. I mean, I think even if we somehow got 3,000 subs in the future, I reckon probably only a few hundred would watch every podcast. But you know what? That's okay. That's fine. I don't mind, because hour-long videos where you're just talking, people struggle to pay attention to them. But the main reason I like making these videos, I just enjoy like getting my full opinion out there in full. Because the thing is, if you make an hour-long video about something normal, you have to do loads of editing over it, put loads of pictures and some more bits of footage here and there and music. And it just takes forever, and then you get it uploaded and it's not really worth it. But a podcast, you can just get everything out there and it's not scripted, and it feels really, really natural,
Yeah.
So.
I don't know, is there anything else you wanted to say? Because I can't really think of anything else.
I was just going to say, like, if people can't show up, it depends on the situation. If you know the person's an insanely busy person and they have a lot of responsibilities and they have to help people a lot, then totally understandable. But like, if someone's just, as Aaron said, if someone's continuously letting you down and not bothering to show up or just being lazy, then that is a bit of a piss take. But I suppose you just have to try and get, as I say, just try and get different people on sometimes. And if someone continuously lets you down loads and loads, and it's just because of laziness, then obviously, I don't know, just try and be straight with them and say, listen, bro, you haven't been able to do this. Do you still want to do this or whatever? Just mess you about. Like, there's been a couple of somewhat famous people I've talked to have just sort of messed me about, and I just wish they'd just say, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this. I'm not bothered. Instead of saying, oh yeah, I will do it, but not at the moment, or I will do it, yeah, sure, and then say, oh no, I'm busy, blah blah. It's like, just be straight, man. Just be straight with people.
Oh, that was it. The last thing I know, I said I wasn't going to say anything else, but I was just thinking about it. If you're a small channel, people might ask you to like pay for them to come on. I know a lot of bigger channels do it, but realistically, you shouldn't really do that.
I was about to say, I wouldn't pay anyone to do this.
Because at the end of the day, they're getting free exposure. All they're giving up is, it could be like half an hour of their time, because a lot of guest ones tend to be quite short, because obviously the guest has other stuff to do and, all stuff like that. But yeah, what I'd recommend is, if you are a small channel, don't just like throw money around trying to get people on, because it's just going to be bad. To get people on who genuinely like your channel or just want to talk about anything to anyone.
And yeah, I just want to say quickly though, with getting people on right, like, I'll go back to what happened with Funky Dinosaur. Got him on. It got us, it's the most views, great, and it's got the most likes on a podcast, and we gained a few subs pretty quick. We got from I think 25 to 30 subs in a few days at the time, so that's really good. But at the same time, those people are only there for him, which is nice. I was interested in what he had to say and his opinions and how much of a fan of Callum's Corner he is, and and why he does YTPs, etc., etc. But like, getting a famous person on, it's sort of a lot of views, and subs are only bothered about that person, and then maybe they watch a few more of your videos. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because there's always going to be there's always going to be like a massive influx of subscribers ever, if you get anyone even remotely famous on, and if you're a small channel as well. But that doesn't necessarily mean views.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I'll just end up repeating your point. If I was going to say what I was going to say.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's that really. I think we can wrap up nicely there. thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.
Right, see you in the next one, everyone.